Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
Come on, what a beautiful day. Happy Thursday here on the Recher podcast. Hope everybody is doing well, whether you're watching here in the Tampa Bay area or abroad. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. We're getting close to 1,500 subscribers. I am extremely humbled to know that that's the number that we're at. I was around 30 in November when I was only going on twice a week. And now daily, I mean, we haven't even done 6 full months and we almost have 1,500 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. All I can tell you and all I can ask is let's keep this baby going. Let's keep this thing rolling. In the next 2 weeks, our partnerships are going to start. We got a lot of great things. You're going to see a lot of different things going on. Our guy James Donald's working on a new background for us. It's going to look completely different. And you notice some of the backgrounds look different. Some of the kind of the frames that we have for our guests. Man, we're rocking and rolling, baby. We are rocking and rolling, and I can't do it without you guys, especially Dolan, DT, and Benny. Thank you guys all so much for all of the love and the support. Again, I can't do this without you. A shorter show today, and again, no show tomorrow. So no show tomorrow. I'm actually coaching down in Bradenton at IMG. That's why I'm only on until 1 o'clock today. Power hour, baby. Power hour, maybe just a little bit after 1:05 because I want to talk a little Pacers. I want to talk a little Panthers, Oilers as well. But yeah, right after the show today, I got to head down to Bradenton, IMG, Hit Factory, the 2026 team. They got me working with the 17-year-olds, the big dogs. So they're throwing me right in, man. They're throwing me right into the deep end, which I love it. And everybody that I've spoken to in the last couple of days about getting back into coaching, they said, that's your thing. That's your calling. And as much as I love radio, and I forgot who asked me about radio, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. And I love sports and I love doing radios and podcasts and all these different things, but there's just something about coaching. When I'm on that field, it's just a different side of me comes out. I feel like the best of me comes out because I'm able to impact other people. I'm able to stay even keeled. I miss it and I love it so much. We're going to talk some Rays baseball. I'm not panicking and you shouldn't either. And I'll tell you why at 12:30. Denise Schilte-Brown is going to join us at 12:40. You see it right here. Ever since day one of the podcast, we have always represented the Tampa Bay Sun. I've been a fan of the Tampa Bay Sun before they were even the Sun. I can't wait. Championship game Saturday night. I'm flying back from Bradenton to be able to, not flying because I got to drive normally. But I'll be there Saturday night, whether I'm late or not, to watch the Tampa Bay Sun. I'm so excited that they are in the final of the USL Super League Saturday night. The head coach, Denise Schilte-Brown, we love her. We love her. She is the absolute best. She joins us on the program at 12:40. And if you want to hear from Mike Evans, he spoke today at the Avon Health Training Center at One Buccaneer Place. I'm going to play that for you in full here momentarily. Again, follow me at Recher. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Where are you watching from today? Feel free to put that on the chat. And also, if you ever want to get in on the conversation, here is the StreamYard link. You can just click on this link in the chat. Here you go right there. But click on in the chat. You can join via phone, via laptop. We want to hear from you here on the Recher podcast. Your thoughts on the Bucks, your thoughts on the Rays, Lightning, whatever you want to say. Any questions you got, I'll do my best to answer them. Well, Benny, one of our favorite guests here on the program, or what do you listen to in the car, podcasts or music? I'm going to tell you this. I am one of those people where I listen to very few podcasts, but the few I listen to, it's really like 2 of them. When I watch or listen to podcasts, the one is anything about the Premier League, soccer. It's Gary Neville. They have the Stick to Football podcast which Gary Neville, famous Manchester United right back, for all of his dealings, talking about the government over there in the UK years ago. They told him stick to football. And he goes, okay. And then he starts a podcast, which I think is one of the best podcasts in the world. Stick to Football podcast with Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, also with Roy Keane and Ian Wright. Like, the Stick to Football podcast is just so phenomenal. And they have a lot of fun. They talk about the game, and they just have so much fun. And I can't forget the person that ties it all together, and that's the great Jill Scott. She does such a great job. I love it. It's such a fun podcast, and Roy Keane is such a nut job. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. My other podcast that I listen to a wrestling podcast. I do listen to Jonathan Coachman a little bit because I love Coach, but Busted Open Radio with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray and Nick Nemeth. It's still weird not to call him Dolph Ziggler, but Tommy Dreamer and Mark Henry. Like, I get my wrestling and my soccer. When I listen to podcasts, that's what I listen to. As far as music, that's when, the rest of the time I'm listening to. And you know what? To be fair, I still listen to WDAE. I listen to our guys, Pat and Aaron, in the morning. I don't really listen to the national guys so much. And of course, I listen to T-Kraz pretty much every day, at least just a little bit. I got to support my guys. I want to support local at all costs. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Just because of what happened to me, you're not going to get me all bitter, and you're not going to get me hating on people that I worked with and I became friends with over the years. And you see so many people that lose their jobs, whether it's newspaper or radio, TV, anything. And all they're doing is just burning every freaking bridge that they have. I'm not going to be like that. I've never been like that. That's not in my DNA. That's not how I was raised. And if you see the video, and it's pinned on the top of my Twitter at Recher, my message to everybody after I got let go at WDAE, that hasn't changed. And we're getting 7-8 months after I got let go. It is what it is, man. I've been on the air. I've been in studio with those guys. I still got a lot of love for Pat and Aaron and pretty much everybody that works over there. It's just the name of the nature of the beast, right? And it opened me up to do a lot of different things, including this. And I thoroughly love doing this podcast. And I think this is more kind of my thing, up my alley. Doesn't mean I'll never go back there. Nah, never say never. But I really love the ability to be able to do this, to be able to just kind of talk sometimes, be able to talk about UT baseball and talk about wrestling and MMA. And of course, we talk about the Bucks and Lightning and Rays. And we talk about the Rowdies. We talk about, all this stuff that I have up here. I mean, I don't think anybody's putting on a show like I'm putting on a show. It's my thing. And I'm going to touch on a little bit of everything. That's important to me, because I think in the Tampa Bay area, we should be highlighting Tampa. So congratulations to our guys at DAE. They got the contract with Florida Gators, which is great. But for me, I don't know, it is what it is. I wish we were going to be able to see USF on the sports station here locally, but I understand it's a money thing. You're going to be able to sell the Gators a lot easier than you are going to sell USF. And there's a lot that goes into it, rights fees and things like that. Yeah, it is what it is. But I'm going to focus on local in every single aspect. There's no aspect of our local sports scene that I'm not going to be able to cover thoroughly and expertly. So thank you, everybody. Bart Hill, another one. David Terry. Hey, their loss. It is what it is. Bart Hill's another guy too. I want to shout out Bart Hill. Bart has been with us for so long. Bart, going back to the Ron and Ian days, the Beckles and Recher days, Bart has always been that guy showing love. You guys don't understand how important that is, and how much it means to be able to have people like that have your back. Every little comment that you guys make positively certainly counts. All right, day 3 of Buccaneers mandatory minicamp today over at the Advent Health Training Center at One Buccaneer Place. It was a short day, and I had to get out of there. So the only person I got was Mike Evans, but he spoke for about 6 minutes. But you guys want to hear this. This is really good stuff. I know that Bucky Irving spoke, as well as I think it was Anthony Walker spoke as well. But to me, the guy is Mike Evans. He touches on playing in the Olympics, playing some flag football, the wide receiver room with some of these young guys, what he's going to be doing now that it's the getaway day for a lot of guys. We hear that in baseball. But here is the great Mike Evans. And after we hear from Mike, I'll tell you about some of the other things that we saw at Buccaneers mandatory minicamp today and who wasn't in there. But here is the greats. Michael Lynn Evans.
Put in the work. get what you put in. So we put in a lot of work, the whole team has, and we're going to enjoy this break, come back ready to go.
Mike, what have you been doing this offseason? We've seen a couple videos on Instagram.
I do the same shit every year. Work out really hard, hang with my family, play video games, go on trips, the normal, same thing.
What are your impressions of Emeka and Tez, you two rookies, in the wide receiver room?
I know I say it a lot, but this might be the best receiver room I've been a part of. I say it every year, but we always get great players come in. So it's been very fortunate for me in my career to be around a lot of great young players, and they've added to the room tremendously. They're already very polished already. Emeka's really strong hands, super smart, Tez, speed, quickness.
Your thoughts specifically on Emeka, once he's got the ball in his hands, what he's able to do, like making people miss?
He looks like a running back, but he catches like Chris Godwin. Like he's very polished, very well-rounded player.
What does that do for you? I mean, you've obviously done this for so long, right? You're like, I'm doing the same thing every year. But when you see guys that come in like that, they're wide-eyed, they're excited. Like, what does that do?
It gives
for
me
you?
more motivation. Like I was once in those shoes, and I remember that hunger, and and it helps me keep that hunger. Just seeing young, great players like that are hungry.
Mike, can you talk about when you sit down with Jerry Rice and what that was about?
That was pretty cool, man. I had met Jerry briefly back in like 2018, I think. It was really quick, and being able to sit down and talk to the greatest receiver ever was pretty humbling. The things he had to say about me was a great moment for me.
It's like he was really excited about like sharing that record with you too.
Yeah, that's what another thing that was humbling about it. How he recepted me and showed me love. So that was really cool.
And the fact that he looks forward to you potentially breaking it this year.
Yeah, hopefully I can do it early.
Like with your mindset, you said you're hungry, you're starving. You got a ring. A lot of these hungry guys don't. So in that sense, and leaving them, do you see their hunger as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously easier when you're younger, because I was on a 2-14 team, and it was like week 17. I'm still hungry to go play, and you have a different type of juice when you're younger. But when you're older, that motivation is winning. So that's my motivation.
What would it be like for you, and there's only a select few of you that were on the Super Bowl team a couple years ago, to be the first Buccaneers to win 2 Super Bowl rings with this franchise?
I mean, y'all keep talking about Super Bowls. I mean, we're trying to enjoy this break, but I mean, that's obviously a goal for us and every team. But of course, we want to win another Super Bowl, and to win 2 of them would be amazing. It'd be historic.
Mike, how has Josh Gazard kind of taken on his role? Where you feel
Josh, Coach Grizz is last year. We talked a lot, but he didn't talk as much in groups, and he does a really great job of talking in front of everybody. Yeah. And we didn't get to see that last year, but he's a really great coach, and I look forward to having a great season for him.
In the sense that the nuances of this offense that they're picking up year 2, you don't have to switch around. How much better can you guys be with that?
I love it. I love having that consistency with the playbook, because it's really extremely hard to learn a new playbook. And for people that haven't played football, especially at this level, it's tough, but it makes it way easier for us. We can play fast, don't have to think, and then add things to it. So we can take offense to the next level.
Do you expect to see more deep shots on the field this year?
I hope so. I've been working hard to try to get some.
Mike, is not having a contract for 2026, are you cool with that? Is that something you wanted to just go on?
I honestly haven't even thought about it. I just thought about having a great year this year, and then we'll see what happens.
Did you give the rookies or any of the younger guys advice before they come back for training camp?
I mean, the coaches, some players already gave great advice, so I didn't have to do anything really. And they're already pros, so we know that. We're all pro athletes, and we know what to do.
Mike, they talked about flag football 2028. That's still something that would interest you? Olympics?
2028 is a while away, and I didn't know that there was. I seen all the controversy with the quarterback for the flag team or whatever. I didn't even know we had one of those. So I mean, we'll see when it happens. I mean, I still would love to at least be on the roster if I can still lead guys in 2028.
Would you have to be retired at that point? I know you had mentioned at the Pro Bowl you would.
I most likely will be 2028. Will it be the summer of 28? I don't know. Anything can happen.
I was gonna say, you're playing really well, even as you get up there.
I don't know. We'll see. But that would be dope.
The Harry Potter cast has been announced. How excited are you looking forward to?
I'm like torn, man. I don't know how I feel about that. Because Daniel Radcliffe will always be Harry in my mind. I'm still gonna watch it. And I'm probably gonna enjoy it. But I'm a little torn right now.
It's too soon for the show.
I just don't. I don't know what we're gonna get out of it. I hope it's something great. So we'll see.
Got more? Anything else?
What's your plans for the summer after this? What's your plans for the summer after this?
Oh, we got a couple tournaments. I'm an AAU coach, girls AAU coach.
Oh, yeah.
7th grade team. So we got 2 tournament wins already on the season. we're 14-9, which is, we could be better, but got a couple more tournaments to win.
One of your daughters playing?
Yeah, my oldest daughter plays on the 13U, and then my second oldest plays on our 12U.
Oh wow, what's that like? What's Coach Mike like?
I'm different than I am out here. I'm still competitive, and I'm not as tough. I'm not like a Bruce Arians type, but I'm like right underneath. I'm like right there.
Are you getting ejected from any of those games?
No, I'm not getting. I'm cool when it comes to the officials. I try to be nice to the officials.
You don't give them. Did you give them the business out here? I think
I do, but it's different because I'm competing, and it's like I think differently when I'm competing. But when I'm out here just coaching, it's a little different.
Like, what have you seen from some of these younger DBs, like Morris and Parrish?
I've only been to minicamp. If y'all, I'm sure y'all knew that. But Parrish, Ben's been out, but I've heard great things about him, and Parrish is all over the place. He's really good.
Mike, on draft night,
Last one, please.
what were your thoughts on draft night when the Bucs took a receiver? A lot of people didn't think that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but Jason has always been great in drafts, and we want to pick the best player available. And from what I've seen so far, he definitely was the best player available. So looking forward to a great year from him.
Thank you.
Does it get better? I mean, honestly, does it get better than freaking Mike Evans? The guy's the best, dude. He really, I freaking love this guy, man. And we're just so blessed. And I think about this when we talk about Victor Hedman. It's going to be a sad day when you look out at the wide receivers and not see Mike Evans out there. We are so freaking blessed. Where do we start talking about all that stuff? I think you start with the guy that has made so much. He's made such a huge impression early on, and that's Emeka Egbuka. Guys, there's a smoothness about him. I want to play this for you guys real quick, okay? And I know it's not everything, okay? But just bear with me here. I was watching him watch this punt that he caught. Okay, he's not going to be a punt returner, right? But just watch this play right here. And watch how this punt is like nowhere near him, okay? And just watch how he evades and gets down to the sideline and is able to secure the ball and make it look so easy, which he makes it look a lot easier than it really should be. Check this out real quick. Here we go. I put Emeka Egbuka smooth. Check it out. I mean, look at how far that dude has to run to be able to catch this ball. And listen, we've seen some drops from some of these other guys, but no matter what he does, whether he's running routes, whether he's catching the ball, and you heard it from Mike Evans, strong hands, he brings in everything. I had this conversation with somebody earlier today. Emeka Egbuka gets drafted in the first round from any other team. He's probably wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. On this team, he's probably wide receiver 3 or 4. Now, another thing that I heard today is that Chris Godwin hasn't even started running yet. And I don't know if that's public knowledge or not, but the fact that he hasn't even started running yet, and I understand that it's still early, but man, it usually takes a while for a guy to be able to kind of get back in the groove for something like such an injury like that. If I had to put money on it, I would say that Chris Godwin is not ready for week 1, and there's no reason to rush him back. But if your 3 receiver sets are going to be Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, and Emeka Egbuka, shit, I think you could do a lot worse if you're a team in the National Football League. The way that Emeka carries himself, the way that he doesn't look out of place. It doesn't matter if he's playing with Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, whether he's one of the first guys in the drill or the last guy in the drill. I mean, guys, get excited about Emeka Egbuka. He is so bust proof. I just don't see how he doesn't have a good career for the Buccaneers. Now, is he going to be a perennial Pro Bowler and a future Hall of Famer? I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know that yet. And it may just come down to the opportunities that he gets because there's so many other wide receivers. But when I look at Emeka Egbuka, just early on, and I know it's camp, I just don't see how the kid's going to be a bust. I just don't see it. He's just too good. He's too good. He's too solid. That's what it is. He's solid. He seems like a guy that can just take in all of this information and everything we hear. Like, when you hear things like this from coaches and general managers and players on the team, they just don't say the kind of things they say about Emeka Egbuka about everybody. It's one thing if a guy flashes, one guy if I have speed and he could be vital to our offense. Something that Todd Bowles said yesterday about Tez Johnson. Listen, Tez is a guy that has a lot of speed. He could be a one-on-one nightmare, but we don't really know because he wasn't drafted all that high. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's not going to be in a situation where you're going to throw him the ball 10 to 12 times a week. That's just not him. So there could be boom or bust potential. We don't know that, but they're also not going to count on him for a whole lot. When it comes to Emeka Egbuka, there's just a foundation, man, of a really, really good football player. And if he gets the opportunities, I'm sure he's going to make the most of them. And it's going to push a guy like Jalen McMillan, who had a drop a couple of games ago or a couple of practice day one. And yesterday he was arguably the best wide receiver on the field. So that's a good problem to have. That room is so deep. And I can't wait to see how it shakes out because we know that injuries are going to happen. Cam Johnson is a guy that looked really good in camp today again. And then Sterling Shepard is a guy that continues to stick out to me. Sterling Shepard, I don't see how he doesn't, like we saw last year, practice squad early on in the year, and eventually they needed him. But there's a reliability there as a veteran player where if he doesn't get a bunch of balls thrown his way, he's not going to bitch and moan. He's not going to complain. He kind of knows where his role is. What his role is at this point of his career. He's got that relationship with Baker. You can throw him anywhere on the field. He's going to be able to run the right route. He's going to do everything he can to block. It's going to be keeping a close eye on how the wide receiver position shakes out for this team. That's going to be fun because there's a lot of good options. Rakim Jarrett looked good at camp today as well. Desmond Watson was in the thick of things today, and he's such a big guy. And again, we'll look at it here on the sheets. He is listed at 449 pounds. 449. I've never been 249. This guy's 449. But there was a couple of plays today where he was able to a swim move against that second string offensive line. And you're like, dude, it's hard to not have your mind start going like, I wonder if he can be a factor. He's got to lose weight, and that's got to happen over the summer. Like he's got to get under 4 bills. If he wants to make a concerted effort to be a National Football League player, he's like, you have to see a dramatic change because it's unhealthy at the very least. But again, like he's struggling getting off the field, on and off the field a little bit. But when he's out there, it's hard. You can't ignore him. He's that much bigger than everybody else. He dwarfs Vita Vea. It's almost like when Yao Ming used to stand next to Shaq, where Shaq dwarfs everybody else. But here's Yao Ming standing way. Now this one's obviously girth rather than height. But my God, it's unbelievable. I really hope that he puts a focus over these next couple of weeks to drop that weight. Is he going to drop 49 pounds in a couple of weeks? Maybe that might be too tall of a task to ask him. But, buddy, if he can get down to 415 in a couple of weeks, because what you're doing is you're telling the Buccaneers, like, I'm serious. I'm serious about getting my weight in order so that I can possibly make the practice squad and then get called up. Because it'll happen. We see it. People getting called up from the practice squad all year long. So even if he doesn't make the roster right out of camp, why can't he be a guy that's ready for the 4th week or the 5th week, right? Like, we just don't know. Some of my other notes from today, a heavy dose of Kyle Trask with Baker Mayfield out today. And there in the bucket hat, we knew that he wasn't practicing. Hassan Reddick either. A veteran day for a lot of those guys. David Walker, we know, is dealing with a hamstring injury. And then Benjamin Morrison misses day 3 after missing day 2 of Buccaneers mandatory minicamp. He's the guy I'm concerned about. I know it's early. I know. But when you draft a guy and he already has health concerns, you want to see him out there because it's only 3 days. And today, you just have a short day. So if he was completely healthy and he was okay, why isn't he out there? It's going to take some time, I guess, for him to recover, but I don't want to see a guy like Benjamin Morrison when we get to OTAs or when we get to the training camp. I don't want to see him on the sideline. I want to see him out there because we need to have an idea of what this defense is going to look like. Right now, it's kind of looking like we have an idea of what the starting secondary is going to be. Dean, McCollum, the safeties, Ty Key, and Antoine Winfield Jr. with Jacob Harris probably leading on the inside when it comes to being in that nickel corner. All right, that's your 5. That's your 5 guys there. Your starting linebackers are going to be Levante David and Servassier Dennis, so there's 7. And then your 4 down linemen are going to be Hassan Reddick on one side, Yaya Diaby on the other, with Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey up the middle. That's a pretty freaking good defense, if you ask me. Who's going to rotate in? Well, you're going to have Logan Hall rotating in, right? You're going to have Chris Braswell rotating in. You're going to have you're going to have Deion Jones rotating in, right? That's a good sign too. You're going to have Anthony Walker rotating in. Benjamin Morrison, hopefully he'll be out there because you need him. Bryce Hall, who had that first pick of training camp or mini camp, which looked good. And then, Christian Izzy getting in there. So a lot more options this year than last year, which makes you feel pretty good as a Buccaneer fan. Another guy that's really standing out to me, and I know that when we spoke to J.C. Allen yesterday, he wasn't as high on this guy as I was. But my God, Devin Culp is a freak, man. Devin Culp made another great catch down the sideline. His hands are phenomenal. He can run. God, I just don't know how he doesn't get more involved in this offense this year. He just looks so good out there. And he just looks more fluid than the other guys. And Cade Otton's going to do a good job blocking. We know what Payne Durham is, another big body, but Culp can run. He just looks so fluid out there. He's a beast. I think if he gets the opportunities, he can be a problem in the red zone. If you're playing against the Buccaneers in the red zone, and we saw it today when they were warming up a little bit after we could not take any more pictures or videos, they're running these combination routes, and you go, Emeka Egbuka with Mike Evans? Yikes. Jalen McMillan with Mike Evans. Then on the other side, you have a guy like Devin Culp, who's just that freaking big. Well, let's get the optics here for big old Culp. 6'4", 237. That's a monster who can run like the wind and who can freaking catch the ball, snatch it out of the air. I really like what I see from Devin Culp. I hope he gets more opportunities this year. We saw in limited time last season that when his number was called, he did a lot of great things. I love that. Love that a lot. What else did I get to? Tez. When you look at Tez Johnson, there was a play today where he made a grab and he got in and out of his break so freaking quickly that is he going to be able to hold up to a 17-game season because he's not the biggest guy? We don't know. But there's going to be certain plays where he's going to run out there, and how do you guard him? How do you guard a guy like that? It is going to be an unenviable task for opposing defenses. And what a great selection for Jason Light. He's hit on so many different selections for this team, this team the last couple of years. And I know there's going to be people out there that are going to stay with the whole Jason Light. Oh, well, what about JTS? And what about Kyle Trask? And what about Roberto Aguayo? Man, he has a lot more hits than misses. A lot more. We broke it down. It was me and Ron. We went through the entire draft class and the entire tenure for Jason Light. So this was like 2018, 2019, because it was pre-pandemic. And we did like 5 years. And we went through all the draft picks and all the free agent acquisitions. And he was kind of just like league average at that time. That was counting all of those. That was counting Aguayo, right? And I know some are more impactful than others. But since then, think about it. Since then, he's drafted Tristan Wirfs. Since then, he's drafted Antoine Winfield Jr. Since then, he's won a Super Bowl, right? Since then, he's drafted Bucky Irving. He brought in Baker Mayfield. Drafted Jalen McMillan. It's a lot of good players, man. Drafted Yaya Diaby. Did a lot of good things for this team. So Jason Light in a good place, and just the entire team in a good headspace as well. Just listen to Todd Bowles. This is from earlier today, Todd Bowles, and very soft-spoken. Let's see if we can hear this together. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to hear it. He only spoke for a little bit. So here's head coach Todd Bowles over at the Avon Hill Training Center today at One Buccaneer Place. And let's hear what he had to say about the team. Boom, boom. Let me pull it up. Here we go.
Yeah, he's here. Okay. He's up right now. Okay. Getting ready for training camp.
Nice, easy, light practice. Got guys swapping jersey numbers. Just take it easy on the way out, kind of thing.
Well, we'll take it easy on the way out. We got the second and twos and threes, got some good reps today. We need to get some red zone and third down work done, so they understand how they got to come back.
I know that you said that Tristan Wirfs was being held up for precautionary reasons. Do you have a better idea now of where he's at?
He should be fine by training camp.
How confident are you in Kyle Trask if he has to take extended for this season? Are you looking for something from maybe in training camp and preseason that would make you more confident?
We got a lot of confidence in Kyle because he's playing now. It's hard to play when you've got 2.5 stars ahead of him since he's been here. So the more time he gets, the more confidence he gets. So the season will be big for him. Getting the reps down and we take a good look at him there, but he's been fine.
What's your message to the team as you guys break for summer?
Obviously come back in shape because working out indoors ain't going to help them. When they come back in this heat, they understand what they're coming back to. Be ready to roll. Thank you.
So happy. He's so happy. And listen, the Bucs PR let us know too. They said, let's keep it short because it's all right. We got to go. We got to roll. So we love that. You got to listen to the PR staff and Todd Bowles just like a minute and a half or so. But the first question was about Greg Gaines because he hasn't been out there. So Greg Gaines is a guy when you're looking at the defensive line, another veteran that you're going to be able to rotate in, knows exactly what this defense entails. So it's exciting to see what the Buccaneers are going to do this year. But now they got some time off. So we'll talk about the Bucs more here in the next couple of weeks. But our Rays last night, unfortunately, fell. They lose 2 of 3 against the Boston Red Sox. And I know there's people looking at the record now, 36-32 after 68 games, with the day off today before starting a 3-game series tomorrow in Queens against the Mets. Are people worried? Are people freaking out? I don't think now is the time to do that. Now is not the time. You played a team in the Boston Red Sox that seems to be finding their groove. And listen, you lost. It's a 2-run game on Tuesday, another 1-run game last night. A couple of weeks ago when the Rays were losing these 1-run games and it looked like they were very lifeless out there, I had concerns. But you're watching these games now, and I don't see it like that. I don't see them not having light. I don't see them punching back. It's just it's going to happen. It's a 162-game season. You're not going to win every one. You're going to go through these ups and downs, but they're not getting blown out, and they're not lifeless. They're out there, and they're punching. Listen, you lose 2 of 3, and you kind of reset, and the day off, I think, comes at a perfect time. 8 hits last night. We've seen the Rays at times when they lose these games, the 3 or 4 hits, and you're like, what's going on with the offense? 8 hits, 3 runs to be able to bounce back and answer back for some of these home runs. Listen, you lost to 4 solo home runs. If you're going to give up home runs, you want to give them up by the solo variety, and that's what we saw yesterday from Zach Littell. Other than that, no walks, 6 Ks. Do you want the ball to be down a little bit more? Do you want them to be able to keep the ball in the yard? Yes, but outside of that, only 4 other hits. And then when you look at Mason Montgomery and Orsley coming in, doing the job, 2 scoreless innings there, I can't look at this team and be worried, especially with Yandy Diaz hitting his 10th home run of the season. He had 14 all of last year. He's starting to pick it up. And now when you look at Yandy's average, and I called him out just a couple of weeks ago, it's got to be better. 256 and slowly rising. Keep punching. Keep putting your best foot forward. Mangum with 2 hits again last night. The one concern that we have is Shane McClanahan. And when you look at Sugar Shane, you know how much he wanted to be back even last year. He told me, ironically enough, at the Tampa Bay Sun event last year, Shane McClanahan said, Jay, tell everybody I'm not going to be out the whole season. I'm coming back before the season's over. I'm like, if I say that, people are going to say I'm crazy. He goes, I don't care. Did he come back? No. So I had to wear that one. So thanks, Shane. But we thought going into the season, you were going to get a full season and maybe not as many innings as Shane McClanahan would hope to have pitched, but we haven't seen him at all this year. And now it looks like the latest news on him is that he's going to seek a second opinion or try to go to a different doctor and figure out what's wrong with that left arm. And we know it is one of the most unnatural things to do in sports, to be able to throw a baseball. A doctor said that to me one time. He said, why so many injuries? He goes, it boils down to something as simple as when you walk down the street with your arms at your side, not over your head. I go, man, that's really simple, but I understand what you're saying. And now you look at guys like Shane McClanahan that can throw the ball 96, 97, 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. I mean, boy, you feel for the kid. You really do. And I know there's been discussion of like now trying to get rid of him and trying to trade him. I don't like to talk about things like that when people are dealing with big time injuries and injuries that could affect their career. You want to talk about trading a guy. Like, why would somebody want to trade for somebody that's hurt? It doesn't make sense. Got to be smarter in situations like that. And I don't think that that's time and place to talk about something like Shane McClanahan, a kid from Cape Coral who crushed it for USF. And, he's that hometown kid right here playing for the Tampa Bay Rays. And we remember when he started the All-Star game there in LA. And now we don't know what his future holds, but our thoughts and prayers go out to him. Hopefully he can get back sooner rather than later. Again, no show tomorrow for me because I'll be coaching down in Bradenton. And when you look at the kind of the schedule ahead for the team, and look at the probable starters, they've changed their website here for the Rays. Taj Bradley is going to get the start tomorrow night, 4-5 with a 4.58 ERA against Clay Holmes, 7-3 with a 2.95 ERA. And pretty ironic that Clay Holmes started last year as the New York Yankees closer, and now this year he's a starting pitcher with the New York Mets. That's kind of like something that the Tampa Bay Rays would do. So the Mets taking a page out of the Tampa Bay Rays book right there. We'll see what happens this weekend. We know how good Pete Alonso has been this year. Tampa kid Juan Soto is really finding his groove. And when you have a guy like Francisco Lindor, an MVP candidate, it's going to be a battle, and the Rays need to play their best. We've spoken about this all year long. It comes down to the fine margins. It comes down to the little things. Which team does the little things? And in baseball, where it's a game of failure, you're going to mess up a bunch anyway. It's sometimes who makes an error, who takes that extra base, who takes that ball and throws it in the outfield by accident. The Rays have to play a very clean game because you're playing them on their turf up there in Queens against the Metropolitans. That's probably going to be the most entertaining series of the weekend. You want to see what the Rays are made of? They're going to go up against a pretty damn good team up there at Citi Field. I will definitely keep a keen eye on that one as well. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe. As well on YouTube, some of these other things. And excuse me, we mentioned this yesterday, Shamar Stewart and the whole thing with the Cincinnati Bengals. He left Bengals minicamp amid that contract dispute. It's pretty crazy how a lot of people wanted to come out and bash this kid and say, I can't believe he's not suiting up. And I understand the people out there, the old school mindset of you're young, you should be out there no matter what, but it's a business at the end of the day. And this kid and his agent, you're looking at this contract that the Cincinnati Bengals are giving you, and there's literature in there that has not really been seen in any other contract in NFL history, where you void the rest of your contract because of something that happened in one season. That'd be a death knell to a lot of agents out there. Why, if you're a player, why would you sign with an agent that does something like that? If you're a player, you would look at Shamar Stewart and be like, dude, why would you sign that? Because now other agents are going to put that into their rookie contracts, and they're going to go, see, this kid did it. He was a first-round pick. He signed it. How many other times has that happened in the NFL where teams would slip things into contracts and nobody saw it, and a young agent gets kind of the wool pulled over his eyes? Oof, man, that's good for them. Usually I'm on I don't want to say usually I'm on the side of the team, but I think in a situation like that, I'm firmly on the side of the player. Chris Kreider looks like he's getting traded to the Anaheim Ducks, the longtime New York Rangers winger, a guy that looked like he was going to have his number retired one day. He's been with that team for a very long time, and he was kind of the example that I was giving a lot of you out there. We're talking about Isaac Howard getting that opportunity right out of college and joining up with the team, whether it's late in the regular season or in the playoffs. We never saw that with Isaac Howard. And Chris Kreider, who did everything possible to be able to bring a Stanley Cup championship to the Rangers, it is not going to happen. All right, a big thank you to David Terry for the super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate all the help and the love and the support. Speaking of love and support, we're going to bring her in right now. Our good friend, head coach of the Tampa Bay Sun, Denise Schilte-Brown, joining us on the program. Coach, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you, Jay?
I'm so happy to talk to you. I mean, think about, and a special background for you. There you go.
Woo!
Think about where we started last year, right? Didn't even have a freaking name to the team. And we're there.
Jay, you were like one of the first people I talked to in your studio. Do you remember?
I can't forget it. I can't forget it. And I'm so freaking proud of you and the whole team. And just I mean, I have the Super League before it, and this is right behind me in every single one of my shows. I was one of the first people to have one. I still got the USL Super League scarf in my room before you guys even had a name. But just can you put into words? I mean, you obviously had high hopes and high aspirations, but you're one of the two final teams standing, and you're hosting the final on Saturday night. How do you put that into words?
Yeah, it's just a monumental moment, right? The inaugural season. We're going to play the final in Tampa Bay, the first ever professional women's, sports team to play in Tampa Bay. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and before we continue our conversation, I have a really good friend of mine that wanted me to say hello to you, and that's Coach Adrian Bush over there at the University of Tampa. AB, that crazy son of a gun.
Guy.
He's something else. We spent all weekend together up there in North Carolina for UT when they won the national championship.
Oh my gosh, the Sun won a national championship. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's so
and he was the final hit, right? It was incredible.
Yeah, he hit the grand slam in the 8th inning, and we went to breakfast. We went to breakfast that morning, and as we were walking into Starbucks, our bird actually pooped on me. So I knew
that's good luck.
so AB was with me, and he's like, make sure you tell Denise that I was with you when the bird pooped on me. I was like, out of all the things to tell her, I'll definitely tell her that. So yeah, now there's people like all around the country like, maybe I can get pooped on. It'll help my team win.
Of course.
And it's funny because we're in there and it's so hot, and I'm sitting there and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm keeping an eye on the Sun. We got to make sure that they take care of business.
Thank you.
Of course, a big supporter since day one. What was that like when that final whistle sounded last weekend? And then you knew like, hey, we're going to the championship. We're going to the final. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I really thought Dallas had a great team. They're just talent, like player for player. They're a really talented team, great coach. And so we knew it was going to be a really tough game. And we went in a high risk approach. When you play against two different systems, whoever plays better, that's the other team. The other team has to bend, if that makes sense. So if they have 3 defenders and we throw 3 strikers up to get balance, they have to adjust their system or vice versa. So it was going to be a really exciting game. And we gave up a goal right away, so that was rough. But then you just kind of have to completely invest yourself into the risk that you're taking, and the players did. And I didn't think they lost momentum. In fact, I think they picked it up after that, and 2 goals felt really good. So I was glad we didn't go into PKs, and it was nice to win at home. And at that point, you got to soak in that moment before you can celebrate the next.
And then you have the opportunity, like, all right, you make it to the final. And then, wait, Fort Lauderdale wins. Wait, we're host. What was that moment like knowing, no, we're not just in the final, we're hosting the final?
Yeah, I mean, we're like, thinking about what's the logistics getting to North Carolina, et cetera. And just, mentally preparing for both. But we have been very successful at home, and we love our fans, the heat wave, and just all the supporters, and being here at our own facilities. And it's a big difference playing on our pitch than anybody else's pitch, like it is anywhere in the country, right? So to know we're at home is just it feels incredible. Like, I know it's a championship game, anything can happen, everybody's got to get locked in and just bring their best performance, but you feel like you're in the lead going into the game because everything is yours.
At Tampa Bay Sun FC on all social media platforms. Make sure you check them out, tampabaysunfc.com, USLSuperLeague.com. Oh, get your tickets, get there Saturday night. It is going to be wild. What is the biggest adjustment now that we've gone through pretty much the entire season? Was there anything that surprised you? I mean, you did such a phenomenal job at USF at the collegiate level, and now you're, doing the pro team. And what was the biggest adjustment that you had to make to your coaching style, or was it just pretty much the same and just maybe a different level of competition?
I mean, that stuff was the same. I think it was awesome in the Super League. On first look, you're like, wow, you have to play each other multiple times, and what does that look like? But for us, if you like the tactical side of the game and you like understanding what you're up against, and you feel like you can, invest yourself in like developing your players, but developing them to beat a different system each week, then I think it's a great environment for a coach. And I really enjoy that side of the game, and I feel like the players enjoyed it, and we just got better and better as the season went on. I do think we're peaking at the right time. Probably some of the toughest moments were just, like realizing that something wasn't working and having to pivot, because
Right.
all of us work really hard at our jobs, right? So you've done your research, you feel committed to what you're doing, you're excited about it, and then you're like slowly realizing it's a fail, and you have to change what you're doing, and
Right.
that's not always easy. And I think as a staff and a team, we, in those moments where we were like, you know what, throw that in the garbage, let's do this. I mean, they just did it without question, and with the same amount of vigor and enthusiasm as they did before. And that says a lot about a group.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that you have to leave your ego outside. And I think that's what
Yeah.
some of the best coaches and best players do. Yeah, you may have planned that it's going to be like this, but you
Yeah.
got to be able to say, wait, stop. This isn't working. We got to try something else, because, okay, fine. Your ego can take you to a level and then you lose. And it's just like, well, why didn't you change? Well, like, that's what we plan to do. That's just not the way it works. That's not the way sports works. What changed in the middle of the season? Because I remember there was a point, I was like, oh, are they going to make the playoffs? And it just boom, you took
Yeah.
off, and it was just like result after result after result after result. It was like nobody wants to play the Tampa Bay Sun. Was it a mindset? Was it a shift in how you play, personnel? Like what went into that shift where you really started peaking down the stretch, and as you alluded to, kind of peaking at the right time?
Yeah, it was kind of the way we played. We took a risk in the system that we were playing before, and the risk really wasn't paying off. So then we switched to a different system and took a high risk in the way we played that way. And it literally was such a shift in the way that the momentum hit. Everybody felt so much more comfortable in the second approach. And but like I said, it was really hard to change. And maybe we even lived in the other system like a game too long, because
Mhm.
we could have been Shield winners, and it could have been kind of an easier second half of the season. But it made sense going in, and in all our heads we were like pretty excited about it. But you know again, we weren't afraid to pivot, and once we did, it really really took off.
One person that I met very early on in the process, and I've been telling her since day one, like, you're going to be one of those people that are, when you look back, however many years at the Tampa Bay Sun, you're going to be one of those people that they're going to talk about, and that's Jordan Listro. And wearing that captain's armband is such a huge thing. And I made the relation because she's a Toronto, and we always go back and forth about hockey,
Yes.
me and her. I said, man, Leafs stink. And she's like, no, 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 you can't say that when I'm on the show. But hockey, you have the captain, you have a couple assistant captains, and it's not saying that in soccer that you don't have other leaders, but it's one armband, and it's a huge responsibility. And
Yeah.
what has it been like for her since she was able to don the armband? What has worked out so well for her, kind of leading the line there as somebody that's playing in the midfield, and she'll chip in with a couple of goals here and there, but man, she is tough. She's box to box. She's all over the place. She's a maniac. I said, you're so quiet on the show, and I see you screaming on the pitch. It's pretty funny. What is it about Jordan that's made her so productive in that role?
I'm so proud of her, because obviously we have a history together, and I have such a high opinion of her as a person and a player, that the decision was easy for me to give her the captain's band, right? But she almost had to overcome that, the fact that it was such an easy decision, and that she had that trust right away. She had to earn the respect of her teammates, because it wasn't just going to be because she wore that band, right?
Mhm.
Like, but she is the hardest working player. She's the first one here, the last one to leave. Her preparation, her recovery, and then the willingness to give, like you just said, fully of herself on the pitch. I mean, she's going to throw her body into every situation. She's going to work until the final whistle. It's almost like she's giving entirely of herself. There's no like selfishness to her. So she's that leader, the warrior that you're like, she's the brave heart that everyone's like, all right, like, let's go, you know, because she is willing to do whatever it takes to get the victory, to be successful. And then off the pitch, she's kind. I mean, everybody,
Mhm.
you know, knows that she's a loving human being. She doesn't, you know, she's not going to be that captain that gets in your grill and tells you you're not good enough. She's going to put
Right.
her arm around you and, you know, tell you that guys can go shopping for some good purses together and that everything is going to be okay, you know?
Gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and it's funny because she said earlier this week that because she got the red card, everybody's been kind of like poking and prodding and trying to get her to like go over the edge. And she just kind of looks at him, and I go, "Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's working." She's like, "No, it's not." She was. Everybody has those moments. What is that like, Coach, to be able to see? You know, when you see these college athletes, right? We forget that. You know, I think at the college level, USF, UT here locally, everybody always wants to get on them, and they're so high profile when it comes to college athletics now at all of the sports. And I had this conversation with, I'm sure, a guy that you know really well, Coach Ken Erickson. And Ken and I were sitting there for about 10 minutes, and I go, Coach, isn't it crazy? Like, everybody looks at these 18 and 22-year-olds and they think, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. I didn't want anybody knowing what I did at 18 and 22. I certainly didn't make the best decisions. He goes, me neither, Jay, me neither. But for you to be able to see an athlete coming in as a young, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and now as a woman, right, playing in this league, what is that like to be able to have some of your players and to see them at South Florida and now with the Sun?
Yeah, I mean, I think that life is a blessing. Every day is a blessing, and obviously having this job is such an awesome, you know, gift that I've been given. But I truly believe life is about relationships, right? We can't take these wins and losses with us. We can't take anything we buy with us. And but the people, you know, the moments, those exchanges, and the enrichedness of those relationships is really what life is about. So it's been the best part of my job. I mean, you know, when you're a college coach, and Ken Erickson is one of the best. Um, when college is over, they've played 4 or 5 years for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's that moment when everything is done and there's no you know, hierarchy between you and the player, and all of a sudden you do something for them, and there's that moment when they're like, wait a second, like this isn't just because you were my coach.
Right.
Like, you're actually going to help me now, even though like I can't play for you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you see in their maturity all the moment that turn happens, and then it's this different relationship that it goes to such another level so quickly the moment that happens. So you know, with all of these players that I was able to coach in the past, they've already had that moment, and then they get to come back and play for me. So you know, now it's like, you know, the relationship already took that step, so you know that they're in it to win, but they are also in it for you all of a sudden, like, because it's not that, you know, power relationship anymore. It was like,
Right.
oh no, Denise has always been there. So that's pretty great.
Yeah, and I've talked to Ken and Jose Fernandez about this too. Of just there's, and I had two sisters, so I was at all the softball games and all the volleyball
Oh
games, and there's just something different about, you know, the female athletes, man. They just
yeah.
and when I coached, and you'd be proud, I'm starting to coach baseball again, starting today
Yes.
actually down in Bradenton at IMG. But they'd ask me like, what's the difference between coaching baseball and softball? And I said, softball, they get there on time, they do their workout, they're not here to mess around, they're ready to go. Baseball, it's like, come on, you got to warm up, you know. It's a different level. I don't know why it is.
Yeah.
The women are just so much more optimistic, and maybe it's because there's a little bit of a mindset of there's so few, you know. Thank God we have the Tampa Bay Sun, and thank God we have more and more pro leagues, whether it's soccer and hockey and basketball. It's amazing. Softball, it's growing, but there just seems to be a realization of like, we have to do this together. And I think that's why it's so much more enjoyable to be able to watch, you know, certain events where the women are just all about it. They're going crazy. You could be up 9-0, down 9-0. And that's definitely what we get from the Sun. I mean, there's a never say die attitude watching your girls on the pitch. What do you do? What do you do over these next couple of days? I mean, obviously you wish it. I mean, if I were you, I'd be like, please let the game be tonight. But we're a little, you know, we're 55 hours maybe away from the final. What are you going to be doing up until then? Who's counting?
I know it has felt like the slowest week, you know. It didn't feel like a Wednesday yesterday. I was like, sure it's not
Mhm.
match day -1.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's staying locked in without getting
Right.
overexcited. You want to be kind of in that perfect point in the bell curve where you're not underexcited, you're not overexcited. You just want to stay locked in and focused, and it's just another game and it's at home and we got this, go enjoy your day. So we try to make their lives a little bit shorter in the building if we can,
Right.
because we've been together for a long time.
Mhm.
Just keep that excitement and momentum up, and the probably the less time we spend together right now the better.
Right.
So we're pretty short and sharp at practice, and supportive of all their needs, but get them out quickly so they can enjoy their lives, so that when they come back the next day they're like, yeah, I still want to be here.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, coach, before I let you go, what has it been like, the support here in the Tampa Bay area, and what is your message to everybody here in the Bay before Saturday night's final?
Besides, always listen to Jay, right?
The check
Tune
isn't
in tune
the
into
check is
Jay at all costs.
the check is in the mail. The check
You
is in the
got that.
mail.
You got that. I love your show. I love
Thank
your
you, buddy.
support for Tampa Bay, and just, you have so many arms to the community, AB and Ken and Martine Romanica, everybody. So, you are the Tampa Bay man, and
Thank you.
we're just grateful for you, truly grateful. And, I guess that's the same how we feel about the fans. I mean, please come out and support us. We are the first ever women's professional team. We are Champa Bay, but the reason that we're a championship city is because of, the amazing men and women like yourself that just love sports. They love Tampa Bay. And I would just love to feel that love on Saturday with the support. So, come shine with us.
Cannot wait. I'll be down in Bradenton, and then I'm driving right back. I'm going right to the stadium.
Yes.
I'm not even
Yes.
coming home in the shower. I might be seeing you guys in my baseball uniform and stuff like
Yes.
that. So we'll be going there.
We'll take it.
TampaBaySunFC.com has all the information on there where you can get tickets as soon as you go on the website. Again, TampaBaySunFC.com. Click right there. Get your tickets today. They're going fast. That is going to be the hottest ticket to get on Saturday night. Our Tampa Bay Sun, Champa Bay. We're going to add another one to the list, the final of the USL Super League Season 1, and our crew is there. Again, the first women's professional sports team here in the Tampa Bay area, and they're already in the championship, in the final in Season 1, and a huge reason why is our good friend Denise Schilte-Brown. You are the best. I thank you so much for your friendship,
Thank you, Jay.
everything that you've done for our community, and best of luck Saturday night. I know you guys are going to take it home. Talk soon.
Thanks. Go Sun.
Go Sun. Woo! Love it. Thanks, Coach.
Bye, Jay.
Bye. I mean, you guys wonder about our show and the people that we have on, and like the coaches and the people, and people ask, like, is this coach really like that? Is this person really? Yes, 1000%. She is the best. And the impact that she's had on our athletes and just on our community as a whole, you can't describe it. You can't describe. We are so fortunate. Think about the people that we have that run our teams. Like, they're just good freaking people, down to their core, down to their bones. Like, Denise is the best. And listen to what she had to say. I'm a big fan and a big proponent of, you may have an opinion on somebody, but listen to how a person talks to somebody else, right? Listen to how, and I love you, Coach. You're the best. Listen to what you had to say about Jordan Listro, right? We've had Jordan on the show Jordan's probably been on the show here probably as many times as anybody. And she's a leader. She's a captain. And people like that are at the forefront of our professional sports teams, you can't lose. You can't lose like that, right? You may not win every game. You may not win every championship, but just think about the people. Braden Point today came in second in the Lady Byng for most gentlemanly, right, award in the National Hockey League. Like, he's one of those guys. Mike Evans, we spoke about it today. Like, he's another one of those guys. Trust me, guys, it's not like that everywhere. It's not. There's a lot of athletes who are like, I mean, I hang out with Ian all the time, and Ian tells me these stories about how these guys are just dicks to people in the locker room and on the field. And like, even there's one thing of competition. It's just like, my God, it's not great, bro. It's not great. Not everybody's a saint. I get that. Nor does everybody need to be a saint to be successful. But man, when you have leaders like Denise Schilte-Brown, Jordan Listro, Mike Evans, like, Champa Bay is not just something we get because of, hey, we're getting this because we win championships. Like that's the kind of people who are like championship level people. David Terry, thank you, brother. Every single super chat helps, guys. And look at Richie P, my guy, in the spirit of supporting Tampa Bay. God, if you guys could just help out in any way possible, like Richie and David Terry. God, man, that extremely humbling, brother. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you very, very much. You're the best, man. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. Dave Velasquez, Mike says Emeka catches like CG and runs like a running back. That's a big. I played the whole video, Dave. You missed us. I know. I can't. Emeka's he's gonna be another one of those guys. He is. Go, son. No divas in Tampa Bay. I like that, Rennie. Ronnie D. He retired. He did. Ronnie D is a guy that, and I talk to Ian about him every once in a while. Ronnie D's paddleboarding. He's loving life. I keep in contact with him through his daughter, Leanne. She moved down here. She used to live up in New York. So she's down here with the 3 kids and the fam. And I always check on Dad every once in a while because he's not a big texter. But we're going to try to go and maybe get him on the podcast with Ian and I. Ron didn't understand with this shit with his phone. He would just hold up his phone when I was producing. I have to go in there, kind of figure it out. He's the best, man. We miss Ronnie D. Real quick before I hop off, because I got to get going, man. Heading down to Bradenton, coaching at IMG today with Hit Factory. Today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, going to be a big weekend. Indiana Pacers win game 3 last night over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I didn't follow my own freaking advice again, right? After the coaching. Rick Carlisle, monster. Who's the best coach in professional sports right now? I mean, Rick Carlisle is going to be kind of that guy, right? I mean, he's got to be on that list. Phenomenal. And the way that Tyrese Halliburton got a lot of other people involved and just a good balanced game in Oklahoma City. What plagued Oklahoma City in that game last night is what I was worried about against Minnesota. It didn't get to that point. And that's why through that entire time, those two teams were playing in the Western Conference Finals. I said, if the game's close, that's when I got to keep a keen eye on OKC. Are they going to be able to show some of those warts? But they were so much better than Minnesota, like points-wise, right, that it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. Like, we never found out what the deal was. But we are in this series. And with a team like Indiana that doesn't give in, when you have a future Hall of Famer like Rick Carlisle as a coach, it's unbelievable. Hockey-wise, all right, let's see what happens. Stanley Cup Final tonight at 8 o'clock. Oilers down 2-1, Panthers up 2-1 at Amerant Bank Arena there in Sunrise. One thing that we saw was there was a practice that was supposed to be just for the aces, just for the scratches there in South Florida. However, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were out there. So the Oilers kind of pulled a little bit of the okey doke on the media. Media was not happy. And some people say, oh, it's not a big deal. It is, though. It is, because there is that relationship between the players and the teams and the media. Like, that stuff needs to be, like, people have to work together for stuff like that. And I have this conversation with even some of my friends are like, oh, what's a big deal? It's just another interview. Every little bit helps, man. Every little bit helps, especially for a sport like hockey to grow the game. And also, like, you're taking time out of your day to do these things. You have to cover them. Everything works in conjunction. It's part of the CBA, like, to be able to talk to these guys. And the fact that they lied to the local media, like, we would have been pissed. If that happened in Tampa, we would have been pissed. Now, to be fair, I would have been there regardless. And a lot of people would have been there regardless. But especially when you're traveling, think about you're traveling from Edmonton to freaking South Florida. All those people that are making those trips, and they're trying to do their job, and then you don't tell them the truth about practice. It's just kind of shitty, man. It really is. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. God, man, you guys are the best. Thank you, Dolan. Ren, bro, it's so funny you say that because he went on with Pat and Aaron, I think, a couple of years ago, and they were talking about, I want to say it was, I don't know if it was football, but I could tell, like, Ronnie D, like, spent, like, 3 hours. He spent like 3 hours, like, work, like watching ESPN or something. He was doing something to make sure that he was in tune with everything. No show tomorrow. Again, I'll be in Bradenton coaching. So again, no show for me tomorrow. Buccaneers mandatory minicamp is over. I get to sleep in a little bit tomorrow before I head back down and do more coaching. Shout out to Dave Terry. Shout out to the super chat guys, David Terry and Richie P. God, thank you guys so much. I'm just so appreciative. Follow me at Recher on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Instagram. I didn't mention Instagram. Got to mention Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. You guys are the best. Big thank you to Coach Denise Schilte-Brown. Again, TampaBaySunFC.com. Get your tickets today. I'll see you there on Saturday night. Go Sun, man. Can we add another chapter to Tampa Bay? My gut is telling me yes. Led by Jordan Listro and the crew. Very special. Very special team, very special coach, very special leadership core. And I'm going to go do my thing down in Bradenton. I love you all. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Go Rays. Go Sun. Go Rowdies. Love you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. We got a big guest. We got Ian Beckles, and we have another big guest at 1 o'clock on Monday as well. You don't want to miss that. We'll see you on Monday at noon right here on the Jay Recher Podcast. I'm gone. Peace out.